The Galactic Council chamber was wide and cold. Filled with light from distant stars, tall alien figures stood in a circle, watching a giant image of a small blue planet. That planet was Earth. The Council had waited many cycles for this moment. Today, they would finally decide the fate of that world. An elder speaker stepped forward and spoke in a calm but proud voice. Earth has been observed for thousands of years. It was one of our early projects. A simple test world, a failed experiment. Soft laughter moved through the chamber. Some aliens clicked their jaws. Others flashed light patterns that meant amusement. Another council member added, the dominant species on Earth called themselves humans. They were unstable, emotional, and violent. They fought each other more than they learned. They never reached the stars. The word humans echoed in the chamber like an old joke. Long ago, there were stories about humans. Legends passed between explorers and historians. Stories of creatures who could survive fire, ice, and war, who adapted faster than any known species. But those stories were now considered myths. A young observer stood quietly at the edge of the hall. His role was simple: record the decision. Archive Earth forever. He watched as the council displayed images of ruined cities, old satellites, and broken machines. All signs show collapse. The elder said, human signals vanished long ago. Their world never moved beyond its planet. We mark Earth as inactive. The decision was almost complete. Then something strange happened. A low sound passed through the chamber. Not laughter, not speech, a warning tone. One of the sensor masters turned in shock. Council, we are detecting movement. The image of Earth faded, replaced by dark space. What kind of movement? The elder asked, annoyed. Unknown signals. The master replied, deep space, far beyond known routes. The council members looked at each other. Unknown signals were rare, dangerous, probably debris. One said, or old machines drifting. Another added. But the young observer felt something tighten inside him. The signal pattern looked organized. Too clean, too calm. The sensor master continued. These signals are not random. They architrode. A new image appeared. Dark shapes at the edge of detection range. Large, silent, moving together. The council laughed again, but this time it was nervous. Nothing comes from that region. An elder said, it is empty space. The master hesitated. There is more. He brought up ancient data files, sealed and forgotten, old records. From the first stage of exploration, the files carried a single warning label. Human origin data risti. The chamber fell silent. The young observer leaned forward. The files showed early human ships. Primitive, slow, but strong. Designed to survive damage, not avoid it. These designs are similar, the master said softly, but far more advanced. The elder's voice dropped. That is not possible. The dark shapes grew larger, still far away, still unclear. The observer noticed something else. The signals were not scanning. They were not searching. They were watching. A cold thought crossed his mind. What if humans never failed? What if they simply left? The council tried to regain control. Prepare. Defense systems, one ordered, just in case. Outside the chamber, stars dimmed slightly. As something massive passed between the light, the young observer whispered to himself, legends do not disappear. The sensors screamed again, this time louder. Multiple contacts. Perfect formation, coming fast. The failed experiment was no longer silent, and the galaxy was about to learn the truth. The Galactic Council chamber was no longer calm. Soft lights turned sharp and red. Warning symbols floated in the air. The elder speakers gathered closer, their confidence fading. What we see is impossible. One of them said, humans were weak, divided, and trapped on one world, outside the chamber. The unknown shapes moved closer. They did not rush. They did not hide. They moved with purpose. The sensor masters worked in silence, their hands shaking as more data arrived. The signals were clear now, too clear to ignore. These ships are not drifting, one master said. They are controlled, disciplined, and aware. A military commander stepped forward, his armor glowing. Identify the fleet, he ordered. Scan for known species. The scans returned nothing familiar. No known energy core, no known shield pattern, no known weapon signature. The council began to argue. Some demanded immediate attack, others called for retreat. Fear spread through the chamber like smoke. The young observer stood still, watching the data streams. His eyes moved across symbols and ancient markings. Then he saw it, a pattern buried deep in the signal. Old, simple, almost forgotten. It matched the restricted files. Human signal logic. His voice shook as he spoke. These signals follow early human design rules. The chamber froze. That species is extinct, an elder snapped. Those are fairy tales. The observer shook his head. No, they are not extinct. They evolved. The fleet appeared on the main display, not close enough to see details, but large enough to block stars. The room felt smaller. These ships are massive, the commander said, bigger than anything we have built. Defense fleets were launched. Alien warships formed lines around the council station. Energy shields flared to life. Still, the unknown fleet did not attack. They slowed their approach, almost as if they were waiting. A council elder tried to laugh. Even if they are human machines, they cannot match our numbers. The sensor master replied quietly. They already outnumber us. Silence returned, heavy and deep. More old files unlocked on their own, as if triggered by the signal. Human history filled the air. Wars that should have destroyed them. Disasters that should have ended them. Each time, humans adapted. Each time, humans survived. They learned from failure, the observer said. They turned loss into strength. A sudden pulse hit the station. Not an attack, a message request. All systems hold. The commander ordered. No one fire. The council hesitated, then allowed the signal through. The chamber lights dimmed. A single symbol appeared in the air. Simple, clean, human. The observer recognized it instantly. An old mark, meaning one thing. We are here. Fear gripped the council. Some elders stepped back. Others stared in disbelief. The fleet moved. Again, spreading across space, taking positions without aggression. They are surrounding us, the commander said. Not to trap, to protect. The observer understood then. Humans were not returning for revenge. They were returning to be seen. The legend was no longer a story. It was standing at the edge of the stars, waiting to speak. The council chamber was silent. No one laughed now. No one moved. The human symbol still floated in the air, simple and calm, unthreatening. Then a voice filled the chamber. It was not loud, it did not echo, but everyone heard it clearly. This is a human envoy speaking. The voice was steady, controlled, without anger. We know you have been watching Earth. We know what you called us. Some elders looked away, others stood frozen. You called us a failed experiment. You called us a legend. The young observer felt a strange mix of fear and respect. The voice carried weight. Not power through volume, but power through certainty. The envoy continued. You were not wrong about one thing. We did fail. Murmurs spread across the chamber. We failed many times. We lost cities. We lost worlds. We lost people. The images changed. Human history appeared. Wars, fires, storms, and broken planets. But we learned. We adapted. We survived. The council watched in silence. When Earth became too small, the envoy said, we did not beg for help. We built stronger ships. We went farther. The observer noticed the tone. No pride, no hate, only truth. You stopped watching, so we kept growing. The human fleet shifted slightly outside. Perfect control, perfect timing. The military commander whispered. They could have attacked. Already. The envoy continued. These ships you see are not weapons first. They are homes. They are shields. New images appeared. Human vessels protecting smaller worlds, stopping disasters, defending trade routes. We do not come to conquer. We come to correct a mistake. An elder finally spoke. What mistake? The envoy paused, then answered. You forgot us. The chamber felt heavy. The observer felt something change inside him. You believed legends could not return. The envoy said. You were wrong. The signal deepened. The human fleet locked into a stable formation. We are not here to judge. We are here to join. The council members exchanged uncertain looks. This was not invasion. This was something worse. Relevance. The envoy ended with a final message. We watched your wars. We watched your failures. And we learned from you too. The transmission ended, but the silence remained. The observer looked at the stars outside. They no longer felt empty. Humans were no longer a legend. They were listening. The silence did not last long. A sharp alarm cut through the council chamber. Multiple power spikes detected. A sensor. Master shouted. The display filled with numbers. Energy levels rising beyond known limits. The human fleet was moving outside the station. Space changed. Dark shapes unfolded. Layer after layer of massive ships appeared. They came from hidden folds in space, from angles scanners could not track, from distances thought impossible. The sky was no longer empty, it was filled. Alien defense fleets tightened their formation. Weapons charged, shields flared bright. They are surrounding every major system, the commander said. Without crossing attack range, the council felt trapped, not by force, but by precision. The human ships did not rush. They took position with calm control, as if they had planned this long ago. One nervous elder cried out, "This is an invasion." The young observer shook his head slowly. "No, this is a demonstration." A single human ship moved forward, larger than the rest, its surface marked with old Earth symbols. Weapons powered down instead of up. A new message arrived, clear and short. "This is your last warning." The commander swallowed. Warning of what? The answer came without delay. "Do not mistake our patience for weakness." Suddenly, a distant alien cruiser fired. A panicked mistake. A bright beam cut through space. The beam vanished, absorbed by an invisible human shield. No damage, no reaction. The human fleet responded, not with weapons, but with movement. One ship shifted position. Its gravity field changed. The alien cruiser froze. Its systems went silent, pulled gently into place. Disabled, not destroyed. Fear spread faster than light. They stopped it without firing. An elder whispered. The observer felt awe. This was power without anger. Human ships began projecting images, star maps, trade routes, protected worlds. "We control these regions now," the human envoy said, "to prevent collapse, to stop wars before they begin." The council realized the truth. They were no longer the highest authority. The sky was filled with warships, but not for war. The observer looked around the chamber. He saw it on every face. The galaxy had just changed. The Galactic Council no longer argued. There was nothing left to debate. The human fleet held its position. Silent, steady, patient. No worlds burned. No stations fell. Yet fear filled every mind. The elder speaker stepped forward slowly, his voice no longer proud, only careful. "We misjudged her," he said. "We marked it as a failure." The human envoy responded at once, calm and direct. "You were right. Earth was an experiment." The council stiffened, but it did not fail. It taught us how to survive. Images filled the chamber again. Human colonies thriving on harsh worlds. Cities under alien skies. Children walking freely among stars. "We learned to endure," the envoy continued. "We learned to protect." The young observer watched history being rewritten. "We do not seek to rule, we seek balance." The council exchanged glances. They understood the message. Resist and lose everything, accept and survive. The elder lowered his head. "Then Earth was not a failure." The envoy replied, "No, it was a beginning." A formal declaration appeared, written in council code and human language. Earth status, updated, failed experiment, removed classification, galactic SUC CSS. The observer felt something deep inside him shift. The council signed the agreement, their authority fading, but their world safe. The human fleet slowly adjusted. Position, not leaving, not invading, watching. The envoy delivered the final words. The galaxy laughed once. It will not laugh again. The transmission ended. Outside, the stars shone brighter, not because they changed, but because the truth was finally seen. Earth was never a legend. It was the test that proved survival.